And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Good afternoon. I'm National Weather Service Meteorologist John Cowen with your Alaska Public Forecast. We'll start off with a fire weather update courtesy of the Alaska Interagency Coordination Center. We're looking at moisture moving into south central Alaska for Friday. That's really going to help out those dry fuels across the area, so improved conditions across the Mat-Su, Kenai, and Copper River areas. However, as low pressure moves into the Gulf of Alaska, that is going to allow high pressure to build over the interior. So unfortunately, across the northern interior, we'll start to see conditions continue to dry out with warmer temperatures moving into the area. Additionally, some thunderstorm activity expected across the southern interior. And then looking into the outlook for this weekend, warmer temperatures are the trend for the interior. So temperatures pushing 80 degrees in some areas. So very dry and warm. And then as we get into next week, though, we do have another round of precipitation expected by midweek, so that should help moderate fire weather activity as we get into mid next week. Taking a look at our fuels for today. So fire danger still very high across south central Alaska. So thankfully tomorrow we'll see some rain moving into this area, kind of helping to put a damper on that, so to speak. And then across the Yukon Flats and portions of northeastern Alaska, still some very dry fuels out there. And with the warming and drying trend this weekend, that's really not going to help things very much. So as we look at our satellite loop here, you can see we have clear skies across the south central portions of the interior here, getting into the northern panhandle. Pretty nice conditions across the area. We do have a low, though, that's going to be working its way across southwest Alaska, pushing into the Gulf over the next couple of days, and that's going to be the main driver of our weather as we get into the weekend. So tonight, looking at that low starting to move across southwestern Alaska. Already a weak trough in place here over the northern Gulf of Alaska. But as we get into Friday, we'll really see the precipitation starting to amplify across the southern portions of the state. Northern interior remaining mostly clear. However, we're generally looking at the Alaska Range south is going to be where we see most of our precipitation. Strong high pressure out in the Aleutians, though, keeping things pretty pleasant down here. Some moisture trying to sneak over the northern portion of the ridge, so that's going to keep western Alaska fairly active over the next couple of days as well. Saturday, a trough does look to move into the west coast, but it looks to fall apart, though, as we do have some high pressure starting to build back in across the western interior. Our low here in the Gulf of Alaska is starting to drift south by Saturday, so still some showers lingering across portions of the northern Gulf Coast, especially the outer panhandle there, but generally starting to improve significantly by Saturday. And then by Sunday, conditions starting to look pretty nice across most of the mainland. Portions of the southern panhandle still hanging on to some showers, but otherwise high pressure is doing its thing, and we do expect to have a beautiful weekend across most of the state. So let's take a look at our temperatures. Low temperature is going to be either side of 50 degrees for most areas Friday morning. Looking into the low to mid 50s for portions of the panhandle. And then our high temperature is going to be around 70, even up to about 75 for most of interior Alaska there. Across south central, we do have cooler temperatures with that low pressure that'll be moving through. So looking to top out either side of 60 degrees for most areas of south central Friday afternoon. For Saturday morning, again, looking at low temperatures either side of 50 degrees for most of the state, 30s over the north slope, mid 50s again for the panhandle, and then for Saturday afternoon, a pretty noticeable warm up. You see temperatures in the low to mid 70s across most of the interior, even starting to push up into the upper 70s, and then we'll see that trend continue into Sunday with some 80-degree temperatures, possibly even starting to pop up by then. You can see south central significantly warmer Saturday as well with the departure of that low pressure. The outlook for the 6 to 10 day time frame, we're looking at significantly warmer temperatures across most of the state, particularly across southwestern Alaska. And we kind of saw that when on the weather map with the high pressure that was sitting here over the Bering. That's going to start to move off to the east a little bit. And when we get that dome of high pressure sitting over southwestern Alaska, we'll really see the heat coming in. A little bit cooler than average expected across southwestern or southeastern Alaska, especially the southern portions of the panhandle, with a more troughy and cooler and wetter pattern. Wetter than normal expected across the southeastern portion of the state, especially into the panhandle. And that'll wrap up our public forecast. I'm National Weather Service Meteorologist John Cowen.